there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. And coming soon, I'll be launching my membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com to request my Zoom Room link or follow the Zoom Room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 149. This quote was on my Momentum page when I logged into my browser this morning in my office. There is never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. That's by Brian Tracy. I mostly agree with that, but it just helps us to remember that we need to focus on the important things, right? And I thought it was very timely since we are talking about motivation and prioritization today. Did you know motivation and prioritization are companions, at least when we let them be? When I talked about motivation a few weeks ago, I reminded all of us that we have more than one motivator. The common categories are personal growth towards self-actualization, knowledge and learning, relationships and connections with others and belonging, happiness or fun or joy, esteem from others, respect and fame, purpose and altruism, success or achievement, money and security. And I am sure that more than one of these motivates you to a varying degree based on the day or the task. Regrettably, though, we can't always or even often give 100% to every motivation. We usually have to be ready to narrow our focus. So the question becomes, what am I putting first today? What holds the most weight for me today? For example, my husband and I were talking recently after an especially intense week of work and life, and also some medical issues for too many loved ones in a short amount of time. And I said I needed to shift my perspective from hypervigilance and expecting bad news to more balance and expecting more good and even maybe finding some fun. And so then we said yes to many fun things in a very short amount of time. And then I really needed to focus on rest because life isn't just a pendulum of work and not work. It's more of a landscape with all sorts of other things present. Thank goodness. But again, that begs the question, what are we doing today or at this moment? What am I putting first today? What holds the most weight for me today? In terms of my last few articles, what is the motivation? Now, please don't think I'm judging or telling you what to do. Working with a client a couple weeks ago, she said, I couldn't do what you told us to do about packing on the podcast. And I said, that's okay. This is not an assignment, I promise. So don't think I'm judging or telling you what to do. And we do not need motivation or priorities or a focus on productivity all the time. See above, sometimes we need to focus on rest. This is not a hustle culture article or a more productivity is the goal article. Far from it. I am suggesting that awareness, of course, because coaching, right? But awareness around our motivation and to what we are prioritizing to can help us to make decisions on how to spend our time or resources. It can help us find equilibrium and ease. It can help us find productivity and also rest in all the areas of our lives. I worked with a longtime client recently, and this is an example of when organizing and coaching go hand in hand. We were discussing projects she needs to complete in her home, and she was determining in what order she should complete them. For example, her projects are cosmetic, meaning, she wants to have the back porch painted or some patch painting in her maid bedroom, and she wants her railings on her front stairs sanded and painted. She also needs to have her carpet replaced in 3 rooms, right? So she has vague ideas, but right now they are just ideas with a lot of question marks. And when we were considering her ideas and projects, there were many I wonders, right? Like, I wonder what that would be. I wonder what the time frame is that. I wonder what the turnaround is, right? And I understand that. I know I've been there before, and probably so have you. And she self-deprecatingly said that her lack of progress was a problem of procrastination. So I gently reminded her that it didn't sound like procrastination as much as the need for more information before we could make decisions. And she agreed, of course, that seeking more information sounded much better than procrastinating. But it's the truth. And we also need to know what her motivators are when we start asking these questions. Looking at the categories, her motivation includes relationships and happiness. So we need to consider if she wants to complete these house projects before a family event. A motivator for sure is money and being responsible with it. And then also esteem from others and security of taking care of her home. So we need to ask, what is she putting first today? What holds the most weight for her today? Does she want the work done as soon as possible? Is she on a deadline? Maybe a family event that she wants to host in a month or 2. So she wants these projects completed before the event. Or perhaps the projects are reliant on the weather, like the outdoor painting. So we want to get those accomplished before winter. I am sure that there are companies out there that can make new paint and new carpet happen very quickly, but those services will likely cost more. So then again, is she motivated by having the work done over time to fit in better with her budget? Then we need to ask the questions of pricing and costs and spread the work out over a few months. So knowing our motivators, specifically her motivators in this situation, is really important. And we also need to be ready to rank them in order of importance given our current problem or situation. I talk with others about goal setting and prioritization. I love a good Eisenhower box to determine important tasks we need to do today or next week or next month or not at all. But there are many things that might be important to us in life, and we still have to decide between equally important tasks. So it's not always as easy as just saying what I'm doing today and tomorrow and next month. It might be important for me to do one thing professionally today, but also to take a break and take care of myself personally. I have a friend who prioritizes wellness every time. And so that person makes sure when they are trying to figure out how to spend their day, the first question they ask every time is, as I commit to other activities today, have I also made room for all of my habits around wellness? She is motivated by improving her health for herself and her loved ones. Love it, right? Great idea. And very important to her. So that is what she's prioritizing too, her own health and wellness. So again, we have to ask that question for ourselves. We need to know what we're prioritizing to as we look to make decisions. I am strongly motivated by relationships and connection. Family always wins. And even more specifically, if I have to decide between multiple motivators, my kids will win. And then my extended family will win over esteem or achievement or money or etc., right? Yeah, I'm motivated by those things, but relationships almost always come first. I have a coaching client who is great at identifying what motivates her. Professional success, her spouse and her child, and building a creative hobby into a side hustle, or even a full-time business. That's it. Those are her big motivators. And with that list of motivators, she has to choose how to spend her days. So after our last session, I left her with the questions of, what am I prioritizing to today? What am I putting first today? What holds the most weight for me today? And she found those questions helpful for focus. Sometimes we're prioritizing esteem from others. Sometimes we're prioritizing fun or learning or making an impact on others. But since resources like money for my client or time for me are not unlimited, we still have to ask the questions. What are we putting first today? What are we basing our decision-making on? And the answers to those questions can help us order our steps. What am I putting first today, and what holds the most weight for me today are powerful questions that can help us blend our motivators with our priorities to focus on today's most important efforts. Support around getting things done is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you next week.